Hello, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about how to install and configure a Certificate Authority to use for SCCM. So that's what today's video is going to be about, how to install, configure those components, and how to create those certificate for the SCCM environment. And the reason why we're doing this is because later on I'm going to be showing you how to use the Certificate Authority for Mac management, or maybe you want to switch from using HTTP to HTTPS type of communication, or a cloud distribution point or cloud integration like with Intune and some other stuff. You kind of need to use certificates. You can't just use the PKI strictly, you have to use some other stuff. So today it's going to be about how to install and configure that so that we can use that in our environment with SCCM. So with that, let's get started. So I created a server already called CA root, and I already put git dash Windows feature in the quotes AD. So as you can see, all of these features are now available to me that I can install. So what we're interested in is ADCS-Certificate Authority. So that's what we're going to build. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to add that feature. So, I gotta log back in. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and click Add. Windows feature. And we're going to call ADCS as, ADCS. Well, what is wrong with me today? Third time's a charm. ADCS. There we go. And as you can see, it's right here. Dash. Cert Authority. Just like that, and hit enter. Alright. Oh, of course I forgot to put add. Let's try this again. I guess I'm just having one of those days. Alright, I am definitely not add dash Windows feature ADCS Cert Authority. Let's see. There we go. 3 times a charm. So here we go. It's going to add that feature. Now, after the Certificate Authority is installed, you then must configure the server, configure it from the server manager console. So we'll do that as soon as this is finished. As you can see, it's almost there. Okay, there it goes. All right, so it's just talking about Windows Update, which is fine. I update all my stuff through SCCM anyway, so I just need to do another round of updates, which reminds me I'm going to be doing another video, another updated video for Windows updates. So now we're going to go in here, and as you can see, now we have that little triangle, and you're going to have to go ahead and configure the Certificate Authority. Now I'm going to go ahead and say next on my credentials, which is fine unless you want to use a different credential. That's fine. You can change that, but I'm going to go ahead and use this. Now we're going to select Certificate Authority because that's what we want. Go next. Alright, so there's 2 different certificates that you can select here. One is the Enterprise CA and the other one is the standalone. Since I have an Active Directory infrastructure in my lab, I'm going to go ahead and select the Enterprise CA. You can choose standalone if you want to be available basically, standalone does not use Active Directory to issue or manage certificates, so just keep that in mind. If you use the enterprise one, it'll simplify the management of the certificates. It uses Active Directory to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and go with this option. So we're going to go next here. And we're going to choose root CA because I don't have a root CA. So otherwise, if you already have a root CA, you can create a subordinate. CA requires an established PKI hierarchy and is authorized to issue certificates by the CA above them in the hierarchy. So this will be the first root certificate. So we're going to go with root CA. We're going to go ahead and create a new private key rather than using an existing one. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now here we're going to use the default. So I recommend going with the default now. Now there's no need to modify the default name here. However, I don't think it matters much if you do in that sense. And do not, so here I'm going to leave the default. It's recommended. And then here's what I was talking about in terms of if you change the name. I like to leave the default. Although, like I said, like we were saying a moment ago, I don't think it really matters if you do. But do not use spaces in the name. Just make sure there's no, as you can see, there's no spaces. It's all dash. So just make sure that if you do change this, there are no spaces in the name. So I'm going to leave it default for now. So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to leave the default of 5 years. You can up that now, like in an enterprise environment. Sometimes they'll up it a little bit to like 10 or maybe 8. They'll up it a little bit, but I'm going to leave the default here because, again, it's just a lab environment, and it's just to show you how to install and configure the component. So I'm just going to go ahead and select the default, and just keep that in mind. When it's going to expire, you're going to have to reissue the certificates before it expires on March 3rd, 2014. Yeah, 3 years, 5 years, and then go ahead and do the default for the database locations. And then here's your little summary of what's going to happen. And then click on configure. And now it's going to configure now you could have done this in one command. You could have said add dash Windows feature space ADCS dash enroll dot web. Well, we'll get to that. Okay, so now it's finished configuring. As you can see, configuration successful. Yay. Now you need to install a couple more features called Certificate Enrollment Policy Web Service, and you need to add Certificate Authority Web Enrollment, because we're going to be kind of doing that with the devices that we need to enroll, like for Mac management and Intune and some of the other stuff we're going to go over. So install both of these features. You can do that in one command, which is what I was referring to. So we're going to go ahead and minimize that and go ahead and install these features. So we're going to run this as an administrator. So we're going to go ahead and, since my typing is a little bad today, I'm just going to paste it in there. I guess not. There we go. All right, so we're going to add Windows feature AD enroll web dash poll and ADCS web enrollment. So we're going to add these two features. And then after this is done, we're going to add the management tool. So we're going to do that next once this is done. All right, so that's fine. It's just talking about the Windows Update stuff. So now we're going to add the management tool. And this is the command to add that. So let me put this command in here. Time today. All right, I guess I'm going to have to add it manually. Okay, we're going to get it copied in. So this is the command to add the management point. So we're going to do that right now. And after this is done, we're going to have to configure some components. All right, that's good. So we'll go ahead and close this out. bring this up. Alright, so I just realized my sound is not on, so I'm having some technical difficulties today with this, so I apologize for that. So we want to go ahead and configure the ADCS once we have installed the management tool and the web enrollment and the components. So now we've done this. I had to restart to bring up this ADCS configuration wizard, and you may have to do that too. So now you're going to need to select Certificate Authority Web Enrollment and then Certificate Enrollment Policy Web Service. And once you click on those two things, go ahead and click Next. And then you want to choose Windows Integration Authentication for your authentication type. And then, okay, select the certificate that you just created from the list. So as you can see, I have one for Citrix, so that's no longer there. So I don't need that one. This is the one that I want because I just created this one. So I can, that's the one that I want. So then you click Next. Now if you want, you can check the properties of this. But all it's going to do is give you the certificate information, the details, and the certificate path. So anyway, so you select the one that I want. I'm going to end up having to remove the Citrix one, but I'll just talk about that later. So then just Next. And then after that, you'll get the summary or confirmation and click on Configure, and then that will start the configuration. And there you go. And this is what you can get. If everything is successful, you'll get successful here. And you click on Close, and then that's your post configuration after adding those two features. When accessing the Web Certificate Enrollment Portal, add your CA server address to the trusted sites. And I'll show you that in a second. What we're going to do is go to the, as I mentioned, go to the enrollment portal, add your CA server address in the trusted sites. So I'm going to do that right now, and then Options, Trusted Sites, and we're going to go ahead and add. And make sure that when you add, you use the fully qualified name. So let me double check that. It should be the fully qualified name. Oh, I just realized something. Now what you want to do is you want to make sure that your website for the HTTPS added to your trusted sites, which I have here. And you'll see the certificate error because we're still working on that. Now I have another issue I'm dealing with, so I've got to resolve this first. And once I do, I'll come back and I'll show you what it should look like. So I'll be back momentarily. Alright, that's what it should look like when it's working. So I had to tweak some stuff in IIS to, so basically we have, it's going to HTTPS, and now I'm getting to certificate error, which is fine, but I'm actually seeing this, which is what you want to see if IIS is working correctly. Now I had renamed the server to something else because I was going to use this for operations manager, so I had to fix a few things before this would work. Now that I've added it to the trusted sites and I tweaked a few things and restarted IIS, I now see this part, which is where you want to be, which I now confirm this is actually working properly. So this is what you want to see when you have that part working. So basically when accessing the web certification enrollment portal, server address to the trusted site. So you want to add it to trusted site, but make sure you use the fully qualified name, not the short name, and which I just did a while back. So, and also make sure you configure the AIA and the CLR extensions in the Certificate Authority tool. So I'm going to show you that here in just a second. So now that we confirmed this part is working, I'm going to minimize this. Okay, this is good. I don't want to log it back in again, which is fine. That's fine. We'll close this. All right, Certificate Authority. So now we have that open. So basically, you want to right click, go to Properties. All right, so as I was saying, so you right click on this, go to Properties, and you want to go to Extensions. And here's where your extensions, you want to make sure that you configure your, as I was saying, the IAI and the CLR extension in the certificate tool. So you want to right click, go to Properties, and go to Extensions. And as you can see, you'll have your C drive, and you have your LDAP, and then you have your HTTP connection here. You want to go ahead and include the now again, since we're integrated with the AD, okay, include, we have that one, and then we have, for the AIA, you select that, apply. Then you want to go to the CRL, go to HTTP, and you want to select include these, and then hit apply, and click on OK. Now make sure you configure the auto enroll option as shown below. So you want to do auto enroll. So you go back to Properties, and you want to be on the Policy tab. Go to Properties, and then you want to just make sure this is configured. Okay. Now, so now we're going to test the enrollment page. This is what you should see. So that's good. And if those are configured correctly, and as you can see, we go back, we add this to favorites. Now you go in here, and there you go. So now, when I log in here, this is what you should see after everything is configured correctly. And that's it. You can request a certificate. You can view status of a pending certificate request. And then, of course, you can download a CA certificate or a certificate chain or CRL. And that's basically it. So what we're going to do next, and I may do a separate video, but what we want to do next is we want to request a certificate for the SCCM environment. So now that we have the CA already ready to go, now we can start requesting certificates and creating certificates for SCCM to use within that environment. So with that, I think I'm going to make that a completely separate video because there's a lot involved. And so I just kind of wanted to show briefly how to configure the components needed for SCCM and how to install and can configure the Certificate Authority. And again, if you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below in the comment section. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content, especially now that I've got a CA Authority working. We're going to be doing some integration with the cloud, You know, we can add it to Cloud Distribution Point now. We can do Mac management. We can start doing stuff with Intune. So now that I've got that ready, we're going to be doing a lot of great stuff on top of, you know, some imaging related to Windows 10 and that kind of stuff. So with that, I'm going to stop this video here. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Don't forget to subscribe.